You are now watching MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast TV. Chill!
Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, one fourth of the Premier Boys Podcast, and your host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. And welcome to another new episode of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast TV, exclusively on YouTube. Hope all is well. And on the episode, I got my special guest. I got an entrepreneur in the building. He is a podcast host, and he is the host of Visit Vegas Places with Coral. We got Coral in the building. We're going to talk about his podcast show, being an entrepreneur, and many more. And y'all already know what to do. Sit back, relax, and I'll be right back. So welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And at this time, I got my special guest. He is an entrepreneur. He is a podcast host. He is the host of Visit Vegas Places with Coral. And I was on his show earlier this year, but I'm happy to finally have the bro on my show. We got Coral in the building. Coral, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. How about you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for coming on the show. And it's been definitely a long time coming. Yeah, let's do this.
Yes, sir.
There goes. But before we dive into everything with you, we're gonna do some icebreaker questions. So let's start with where are you from?
Okay, so originally I'm from Los Angeles, California, the West Side. I came here in Las Vegas 21, going on 21 years ago. So I've been here in Las Vegas 21. It was just dust, not too much. Basically, casino ran, but yeah, I've been here 21 years, man.
Nice. And we're gonna dive more into your love for Vegas in a few. But how would you describe yourself as a person? Give me 3 words.
3 words: gregarious,
Mm,
uh, communicative, and also loving. Very
mm,
generous. I add that on too.
nice. Those are good choices, bro. Those are good choices. What is one thing you like to do for fun?
Chill with my family. I love to have my family because our boys, they're grown. So when I have everybody together, that's like a most beautiful thing, man, to see the family I built. So just being with my family, my wife, the kids, and just going out, that's like one of my favorite things.
You already know family is a beautiful thing. So shout out to you for that.
Yes, appreciate
And
it.
and what in your headphones right now? It could be an album, a song, or even a podcast. What are you listening to right now?
Oh, right now I just got through. It's funny you said that too. I was listening to. It's a new song. I've been having it on repeat, and that it's a spiritual song though, and her name is Emmy. It's called He Did It. Evie McKinney. That's her name.
Mm,
Evie McKinney, and the song is called He Did It. That
mm,
song right there has been on rotation for the last like 3 weeks.
that's dope. I'm gonna have to check that out myself. I'm gonna have to check
Okay.
that out myself. So let's talk about the beginning of life. So how was you growing up?
Growing up, let my parents tell you, I was a little mischief. I was kind
Mm,
of bad growing up. I'm the oldest of two boys, just two of
mm,
us. So the oldest boy, two of all the grandchildren on both sides, my mom and my dad's
mm,
side. So growing up, I really did a lot of things just to experience. I was very experimental guy. I wanted my hands into everything. Always been creative though, so always been creative, and I always wanted. I had a love for music growing up. My mother loved
mm,
music. She taught me how to write music. So as growing up, I always loved music. But almost in a sense, my parents, which are boomers, mostly like let me do just about anything. I mean, they were pretty strict. Of course, I had consequences, but at the same time, they still gave me the leeway to experience life to be a man.
mm. And that's good. And I could relate to music because I love music too. Before the podcast, music was always my first love. So I definitely could relate to that. I used to do a lot of songwriting as well, so I could relate to that 100%. And how all that you've been through made you the person that you are today.
What I've been through that made me who I am today is a lot of like trials and tribulations. The Lord's definitely brought me out of bondage. Keep in mind, I was a teenage father also, so I had
Mm.
my first son at 17, going on 18,
Oh
and
wow.
then my father's side of the family, my auntie Becky, rest in heaven. She really like helped me, like she did everything, before I could really become a man and know and understand how to be a good father. So,
Mm.
that made me who I am as a grown man, being married with kids with my wife, to understand where I faulted, where I had made mistakes, and I was disciplined enough not to repeat those mistakes to make sure I don't hand that down to them.
And that's a good answer. And you killing it, Carl. And thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing
No
that.
problem.
And so now let me go dive into some things now. So what inspired you to get into entrepreneurship, and what made you want to go that route?
Entrepreneurship's been with me from day one, man. From when
Mm.
I was a kid, my first job was a newspaper route for the Daily Breeze in the South Bay in California. And that was almost like not a job. That was my first experience of like running your own business because you
Mm.
take on contracts of how many paper routes you do and all that. But I did it all on the bike. But from there, I always knew I couldn't work for nobody. It's like I didn't. It wasn't like I could obey rules and all that. But I always had ideas of process and procedures to improve things. And I didn't have time to like, well, we got to run this through the board or we got to get approval. I'm like, let's implement this right now. So I can give a shout out to my corporate job. My site director, Mike Lee, he really instilled in me to really like just take charge, because I used to always come at him when I was an ops manager, with like, hey, can I do this and do this? And he trusted my instincts and ideas. And one thing he used to always tell me, Coil, is better to ask for permission, no, forgiveness than permission. Always. It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. And it took me a while to understand what he was saying. He was like, just do it, and that now I understand, just to do it. And then when it comes to entrepreneurship, a lot of us don't step into it because we really think like, okay, do I have to quit my job, or do I have to have enough money to transition over, or do I have to know this skill, or do I have to go get an MBA to do this? No, you don't. You just need the word from God. If God put it in your head to have that vision, then He definitely gave you the resources and the capabilities to bring it to fruition. So that really helped me for being an entrepreneur. And not only that, an entrepreneur to where I needed to help other people. I mean, it
Mm.
wasn't like I wanted to be an entrepreneur just to sell something and get rich. There's no
Mm.
such thing in my family as getting rich. We want to be
Yeah.
wealthy. We look to be
Yep.
wealthy so we can hand down that generational wealth. So that inspired me as just like, I have to do my own thing and also build an empire to leave for my children.
Mm. Yeah, that's the best way to go. And I feel you on that because I also do entrepreneurship too. So I feel you on that 100%. But Coral, I didn't have this question on my notes, but I want to ask you this: like
Mhm.
anybody who is an entrepreneur right now, what kind of tips that you want to give them?
Any tips for any entrepreneurs? Like, you got to start it. Like, you have to just start it. There is no perfect timing. I mean, I did that too myself. When I started the podcast, it was August
Mm.
2021. That was my first episode. But I had everything set up March 2021. So from March to August, I was looking for that perfect timing. And my wife had to snap me like, look, you already got things set. So I
Mm.
wasted all that time when I was already ready. In August, I was ready in March. So
Mm.
I say take action. When you have it all laid out, you're not going to know how it's going to turn out or how far or what cracks and crevices you need to fix until you actually start it. You won't figure nothing out
Yep.
until you start. When you get the foundation, the only way you can figure out what's right or wrong is after you start whatever foundation you have. So I say start it, and then the last thing, most importantly, is write everything down from
Mm.
the beginning of your journey. Write down your ideas. When you start your journey, write down the moves you took, the timeline it took for you to do certain things, everything that you got that that contributed to each step that you take. So when you write that down, you have a history book. So not only do you leave your kids an empire, you can leave them a black book, which is a
Mm.
manual to go by from when you started.
Yes, yes, and thank you for sharing that. So you already mentioned this a little bit is the podcast. So before we get to visit vacant places with Coral, what inspired you to start a podcast? Dive more in deep into it.
Yeah, most definitely. So what inspired me to do the podcast is we started doing content for Google Maps reviews with
Mm.
small business owners in Las Vegas. But even to go before that, um, I was I was working delivering oxygen for a company, oxygen deliverer, And then also on part time, I would do what is called it was Postmates back then. I don't know if they still exist, but I used to do Postmates, which deliver food, which is like what Uber Eats is now. So with Postmates, I would go to these places out here that I'd never been before, and I was like, you know what? I would jot them down. Like my family and I, we're coming here, so we'll start. I'll go and take still pictures because I always like doing reviews and pictures and all that. But I'm not a photographer, which is crazy. But I always did these pictures and all that, and I'll write these nice, elegant reviews for Google Maps. And Google Maps told me like, "Hey, why don't you be a local?" But as I started doing this around the city started, recognizing what I was doing, and we'll go to these establishments, and then the business owners will come in before, when we order, and my wife used to be like, they're calling the owner because they know you're here. And I'm like, I don't want that. I want it to be natural. So the owners will end up coming like, hey, nice to meet you. And I'll let them know, they already know what I'm doing. But we'll end up talking for like hours. Like my family will be sitting up with me. This was like many a months of doing this before the podcast started. And I remember coming home one day and I told my wife, like, man, I'm getting these pictures of the food, nice reviews. But then you hear the story. But what was also a blessing about that, my family would be sitting up to get to know what a business owner really is. And they'll see, like, I remember my son saying, like, business owners are just regular people that just took a risk, to get out there and serve the public. And I'm like, you're right. They live lives like us, they take risks like us, but their risk is a little bigger by establishing a business for the public. So I'm thinking, you know what, there's got to be a way that I can share, more than just pictures of the food and letting them know if the food is good or not, but I want to give their story, that
Yeah.
background, their trials and tribulations. I want to put that out so they can understand, the grind that they had to go through. And that's what birthed the podcast, doing
Mm.
research is like, how can I put this out story out? And then there go the podcast. Because usually the podcast people who do podcasts be like, yeah, I watched this, or Joe Rogan. I didn't
Yeah,
know about
yeah,
none of that.
yeah.
I didn't when I
Me
started the podcast, I
either.
didn't even know about Joe Rogan. I didn't even know, certain podcasts. My first podcast was actually a hot dog is a sandwich. That was
Mm.
my first podcast that I
Oh wow.
listened to and learned how to podcast. Shouts out to them. But the hot dog is a sandwich was my first podcast. But also it taught me that I didn't want to be newsy. Like I didn't want to
Mm.
sound like a news trailer or a news channel that's trying to do a podcast where it sounds like exactly like what you see on TV or
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that, I wanted it to be natural conversation. Like when I'm sitting down at these establishments, the business owners are telling me about the food, also what they're going through in their life, how much it
Mm.
is to keep this place running. If they was
Yeah.
about to lose the place once, I wanted it to be a natural conversation like that on the podcast. And that's how I birthed it.
There you go, and that's dope. And thank you for thank you for starting the podcast. You know you are really killing that right now. And so let's dive into visit Vegas places with Coral. Like, show us the origin story behind the podcast, and why is Vegas play a special part in this podcast?
Man, Vegas plays a special part because I've been here 21 years and I've seen it grow. And
Mm.
me coming from LA, I had, LA, I was always around the wrong crowd out there, especially with music. And it
Yeah.
was for some reason I was actually a signed artist. We was like
Oh wow.
almost there. Yeah, I was a signed artist there. And I also did film. So I did back and forth in the film. So I did a
Mm.
couple of movies, a couple of TV shows also.
Oh wow.
But that's where I got the knack for like doing film easily, and there's no problem doing content from that background. But when I
Mm.
came to Vegas, it was almost like a new beginning for me, thanks to my wife. Like that was a real new beginning for me to start over. And Vegas really embraced me. I don't think there was no other city like Las Vegas that embraced me, myself, and what I did, because I wasn't fully out of bondage when I came here to Vegas. So I still went through a little trials and tribulations trying to find who I truly was as a man out here in Vegas. And they shaped that for me. And there's nothing, this is the only way I can ever repay that back. I know it was all sent from God, but God put me here and told me I need to contribute this to the city to make sure I let people know that there's more to it than the strip. And because the strip was here first and everything else comes second that was built up. So I
Yeah.
feel like it's my duty to make sure everybody knows about what's going on outside of the strip. Because of course the strip and the casinos, they have that covered, or they have creators who already have that covered. So I don't want to be in that pack of herds. I set myself different by making sure I take care of the locals.
Yeah. And I listen to Vegas, visit Vegas places every week. You always do amazing things, and
Thank
with
you.
everybody who come on the show. So keep doing your thing. And I was on your show too,
Right.
and I definitely had a good time on your show, and we dive into a lot. So once again, thank you for having me on your show. And yeah, and then Visit Vegas Place is definitely a good show. And keep doing your thing, bro.
Thank you. That you was one of my inspirations though. Like I remember I really got into you when we got on Good Pods. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Shouts out to JJ at Good Pods that created that. I think JJ
Yeah.
know all of us, as far
But
as the people. She knows
yeah,
all of us. She does.
yeah, yeah,
But
she does.
what she if it wasn't for her platform, Good Pods, excuse me, I wouldn't have knew about you.
Yeah,
And then as I dwelled into deeper about you, like you was doing this before me, and
yeah,
I'm like, dude, his consistency, like you inspired me to like, hey, keep going. Whether if you have one download or 100 downloads, you got to focus on the podcast, not the
yeah,
downloads. And
yeah.
it was a lot of things for as far as consistency. I get that from you. I do.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, man, because it's not easy being consistent. Trust me, but
No, it's not.
when you know that you're doing something that you love, and you know you have a set goal to achieve, it's the only way to go. Because you never know where it could go. So, yeah, and thank you for that. And Good Part also helped me listen to your show as well, and a few others as well. So,
Right,
so
right.
we got to thank good. We really got to thank Good Pod. JJ and all of
Yeah.
them and the whole family. So yeah, and thank you for that, Coral. So
Yes, sir.
in my audience wanted to listen to Visit Vacant Places, where can they listen to it?
Yeah, you guys can tune in to Visit Vegas Places on any podcast streaming platform, whether if it's Good Pods, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeart, Deezer, so many to list.
Word.
It is, but I'm on every platform. Again, you guys can check out the website also, which is visitvegasplaces.com. Visitvegasplaces.com. Also, you can actually just Google me. You can Google my name, Coyal, Coyal. You can Google Visit Vegas Places, and it will pop up. Thanks to the consistency, and shouts out to Google for making that happen.
That's dope, and that is dope. So one thing with our pocket, we face many great things and a whole lot of challenges. So what is one thing you love about podcasting, and what is something is your biggest challenge as a podcaster?
Yeah, that's most good question right there. Good question. So one thing that I do love about podcasting is that my podcast isn't about me. It's
Mm,
about business owners and other people. So I'm always looking, it's almost like because I was in music, I look at my podcast as a record label, and each
mm,
business owner I interview is an artist that I'm putting out there. So their business is the next hit to me that I got to make sure everyone listens to or tune into. And that's what I love about it because it gives me that same feeling like I'm doing music, but with the podcast. And then the one thing that I say that I dislike, I wouldn't say hate. There's nothing about
mm.
podcasting I hate, but
Yeah,
one
yeah,
thing that
yeah.
I do dislike that is, overbearing sometimes. It is burdensome. Is I don't
Mm,
have a team yet, so I'm not there.
mm,
So I have to wear all hats. And my guy Nathan Atkins from 12 Habits, he told me something today. He says an entrepreneur has to wear all hats,
mm,
until you can take one off, and then
yeah.
you start taking one off at a time as you move up and elevate. So that's the one thing. So there's a lot of things that I gotta like line out and put in my days when I, record the podcast. It's more to record, and I gotta edit it. I gotta have the content. I gotta answer these emails. I gotta make sure these subscriptions are paid. So the next thing I ask, if the Lord wills, if God can just, the next thing is just get a team. Whether if I get bring one or two people on that can help, and if I can get that help, I can really like get the business owners out more and real quicker. And then
Yeah.
also I do one episode every Friday because it's me. I do wish I could do two episodes where I can take
Mm,
care of more business owners.
yeah. Yeah. And I feel you on the team thing. I mean, I do got a team, but I do everything still. So like, yes, I completely get the mirror wearing many hats. And I'm pretty sure our team will come to you soon, man. I'm pretty sure our team will come to you soon.
Yes.
So my follow up question is, why is it important to support other podcasts, especially in the indie scene?
Oh yeah, that's a good question also. So it's very important to support other podcasts because they're in the same boat. It's the same entertainment. It's almost like what we doing. I'm always refer back to music. This is
Yeah.
like you let me feature on the song. You got hits, and I'm like, hey, feature me on the song. Like I
Yeah.
feature you on my album. So this
Facts,
is the
facts.
same thing how I look at it. But one thing also with supporting other podcasters is when you support other podcasts, you can learn from each podcast. I
Yes,
learn.
yes,
There's
yes.
not one podcaster that I know that I haven't learned from, or they were
Mm,
able to give me some advice when I asked for it, because
yeah.
they understand what we're going through. Like everybody, podcasting is different. because it's different from me talking to you about podcasts and then talking to
Yeah,
somebody who just uploads a show on YouTube saying that's a
exactly.
podcast.
Yeah,
That's not a
yeah.
podcast. You
I
just
I agree.
uploading on
I
you
agree.
right. That you're just uploading videos on YouTube is not a podcast. I
Hmm.
need you to be on Spotify. I need you to
Yeah,
be, on all the directories. What is your
yeah,
host? Who is your host? If you don't
exactly.
have all that, then I'm speaking Spanish to you and you're not understanding
Exactly.
what I'm saying. So it's very important to support other podcasters. Also, get on as many shows as you can with
Yep,
other
yep,
podcasters because they have each one has a different audience. That's the
yep.
beauty of podcasts is each one of us has our own community, our own audience. And if you're creative to find a way to where I can interview you and it resonates with what I do, like your podcast, our session did well, and you're not
Yeah,
even here in Vegas. So that means we found the way that I know what my audience needs that I can pull out of you that my audience needs. And
yeah.
most of our audience also, what I think we also never pay attention to being seasoned podcasters is
Hmm.
that our audience are people who want a podcast.
Yeah, yep, yep,
You know
yep.
what I
That's
mean?
true. Yeah,
There are people that really want a podcast. Like my audience are business owners, might not be business owners that want to get on show, but business owners that like thinking like, how can I start a podcast? I've been
yeah,
following Coyal. Let me listen to what hopefully he gives us some, nuggets on where we can start on podcasting. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
one thing that's why it's important because iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, that's a fact. And you right now I support a lot of people, and a whole lot of people doing amazing things. So it's all I feel like it's all you good to support. Cause you just never know where it could take us. We go all win together. There's no competition in this.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. I love supporting. So yeah, you know. But what is one major goal that you want to achieve as a podcaster, and what message you want to bring to your audience?
So the goal I would want to achieve as a podcaster is to create jobs, get a
Mm,
team, and I want to create jobs for those who are into the podcast industry to evolve it and also create jobs for content creators so they
yeah,
can create content and everything. So that is my goal is by next year I can create jobs, here in the city of Las Vegas for
amazing.
creators to do have fun but get paid while having fun and. And then what was that last question?
What message you want to bring to your audience?
Oh, the message I want to bring to my audience is there's more to it than the script. We live out
Mm,
here. Everybody that's not from out here or never been out here, they think we live in casinos. Our life is
mm.
plush. It's not. It's hot as hell, and sometimes it gets hard out here. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
we
yeah.
we live life like any other city. There's poverty-ridden cities out here. Of course, we have our suburbs, but
Mm,
outside of the strip and the casinos, we live life.
mm. Yeah, there you go, there you go. So I know one thing. You interview a lot of people on your show, a lot of business owners and stuff like that. So if you had to pick three people that you always want to interview, who is your dream guest? Who would these three people be? It could be anybody.
Um, I'll say, man, three people. That's hard.
I know,
It
always
is.
gets.
Cause like in a sense, like where me, I'm kind of weird. Like we had to talk about this the other day because I don't really care to enter celebrities, and all
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah,
Because I'm focused. I like to create a celebrity. I want to
yeah.
create that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
because if I interview a celebrity, that means I'm trying to do that for views or I'm trying to
mhm,
do that for people, and I don't want that kind of like attention.
yeah,
So
yeah,
but to be honest with you, if I was to could interview the first person that I would interview if I could would be my pastor,
yeah. Mm,
Dr. Jamal Harrison Bryant.
mhm,
He would be first on the list. The second on the list would definitely be Obama. I would love to interview
yeah,
Obama.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
the last one on the list was would be Warren Buffett. I would love to
Mm.
interview him.
Good picks, and Obama's on my list too. Actually, Obama's on my list too. I'm not gonna lie. He's definitely one person I want to interview, definitely. But yeah, those are good picks. Those are good picks.
Appreciate it.
So, so one thing that I talk about on my show a lot now is mental health, because we all been through it. Whether it's about this recent election, whether it's about life in general, and everything. So, my question to you is, why is mental health so important, and what challenges have you been dealing with mental health?
With mental health, well, what challenges I've been dealing with was basically I just got out and started. A lot of people don't talk about this, but when I started, it was the imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
Wondering like, am I good enough to be able to interview business owners and elevate them? Not these aren't regular people.
yeah,
These are business owners. So in a sense, they have to trust me to know that I'm going to ask them the right questions and also trust me with their business in their hand which they're giving me an insight to their business, which not the public really sees, to know that I'm gonna represent that and present it right to the public. So with the mental health, I gotta stay stabilized, but also what hardest thing is balancing that work and family, life. So just making sure that I'm just really getting to discipline myself to like, hey, even if I'm not done, when it's time to stop, it's time to stop. I got to get
Yeah,
to my
yeah,
family. I can't just keep going overboard and overboard every day because it's going to be non-continuous. You got to
yeah,
have some kind of cutoff, some discipline. Just like when you go to a job, they're not going to let you just keep racking in overtime. So why would you
yeah,
do
yeah.
that to yourself? So
Facts.
you have to know when your shift ends and really end your shift.
Yeah, yeah. And I could relate to the whole imposter syndrome because I dealt with that also when I first started my show. Like wondering if people going to listen, wondering like you good enough for the audience and people you interview. So I get that 100%. And I dealt with that as well. And yeah, and also burned out is real too. Burned out is
Yes, it
real.
is. Yes, it
So
is. Yeah.
I dealt with that plenty of times with the show. And, and as much as I love the show, I dealt with burned out a lot. And that's why taking breaks is so important because you could reset your mind. You could set your mind and then pretty much restart yourself. So yeah,
Correct.
and yeah, mental health is very important. I think everybody should talk about. That's why I talk about my show now. Yeah, but thank you for sharing that, Coral. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
All right, so let's no, let's switch the gears a little bit. So, what is your dream venture? Something that you always want to do but you haven't done yet.
Go to Denver in the snow. I never, been there. Since I was young. I don't know why it was weird, but I always wanted to go to Denver. And I always been a Raiders fan, but I had a little love hidden for the Denver Broncos, especially in the Elway days. But for
Yeah.
some reason, I don't know why God put Denver in my heart, but I always just wanted to go to Denver and go in the snow, go in the cabins, go skiing and all that. But I never been to Denver.
Okay. Cool. Cool. But I haven't been to Denver either. So I feel you. I feel you. I feel you on that 100%. So we definitely gotta make that happen. Definitely gotta make that happen. So, what other project that you got going on that you have not spoke about yet?
So the project that I have going on that I haven't spoke about yet is really elevating my affiliate programs, which I create content for. There's brands that I'm affiliate partner with, which I really don't spend time. It's crazy because that's what brings income in to keep the show going. But I focus on the show, which really doesn't bring income in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's passion over profit for me. So again, that's where it goes to where I need a team to be able to introduce them to that in different ways that you can bring in income. And then, when I tell people that just in general, it's hard to tell anybody that. They're always
Yeah.
asking me like, why you don't have no program or no coaching,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
or none of that. And I'm like, nah, because I was always offered those. I didn't got when I started, I didn't bought so many of those coaching programs
Mm,
and everything. So I didn't want to be that kind of person to be selling a coaching program down
yeah. Yeah.
somebody. If I'm going to teach you the game, I'm going to teach you the game. But
Exactly.
but other than that, that's the next thing that I really have, going. But also a book that I'm writing with my daughter, and
Nice.
it's teaching kids on how to be kind. So we're
Mm.
trying to finish that off and get that published.
Nice. When that book come out, I gotta bring it back because we gotta have that
Thank you,
conversation. That's really
thank
dope.
you.
That's really dope.
Yeah,
So, what do you have to say for anybody going the same route as you? Say something inspirational for everybody else, entrepreneur, and a podcaster, everything. Say something inspirational.
yeah. No matter what you do, just do it, and no matter what people think of you, whether if they like you or they don't like you, whether if they love you or don't, or however they think of you, it's none of your business. Believe me,
Mm,
it's none of your business. So
mm,
you'll be quick to ponder on it, but you got to quickly check yourself and understand that it's none of your business how people feel or how they think about you.
there you go. And that's a good advice. Thank you for sharing that. So
Hmm.
before you go, Coral, we're gonna play a segment game. And we're gonna play this
Okay.
game called Five Random Topic. We're actually five random topics, and it could be a short or long response. And I will join in on you with you on this. I know you do something like this on a show called This and That, but
Right.
this is my segment show called Five Random
Okay.
Topics. So let me
Let's
know
do it.
are you
Let's
ready?
do it. Yeah.
All right. So I know one thing you always talk about this when you do your this and that, and it's about food. What is your
Okay.
favorite food?
Mexican. Mexican
Mm,
food.
good choice. Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah.
I, I know for me, I'm gonna say Thai food, Caribbean food, and soul food. Those are like my
Okay.
favorite.
All
Yeah,
right.
those are my
All right.
favorite.
Yeah, I love a good carne asada burrito and
Mm,
carne asada fries.
mm. Yeah, that sounds good. I do like Mexican food too, though. I do like Mexican food too. All right. So my next question is, what was the last movie you saw in theaters?
The last movie I saw?
In theaters, yeah, in movie theaters.
Oh, in theaters. Wow. Damn, it's been a while. Oh man, you got me on that one. What was the last one I saw? I want to say it was one of the old Final Destinations. This was
Mm,
back in the days,
oh wow.
right?
Oh wow.
That lets you know, that lets you know how long I've been to the movies. Yeah, I
Dang.
really don't do the movies, man. That's weird though. I know because my wife, when they go on the daughter and mommy dates, that's what they do is the movies. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't go to the movies and all that. And that's weird that you said that because I don't really go to the movies. I really don't look at TV either.
Mm,
There's certain shows I look at, which is
yeah,
through my coach, and they tell me to look at these certain shows for entrepreneurs. But just
yeah.
on general purpose, just
Mm,
flipping through the channel, I got rid of that habit.
mm. I know for me, it's funny that you mentioned Final Destination because the last
Hmm.
movie I saw was the newest version of Final Destination, which came out like in May. So
Okay.
that was funny. That was funny. That was funny that you mentioned that.
What
That
what
Final
number is it on now? What is it?
This is six. This is
Six.
six.
So I
Yeah.
think I went. It was either four or five. The
Mm.
last one. Yeah, yeah.
It was 4 or 5. That means that came out like in
I
20.
think it was four. Yeah, it was long. It was about. Yeah, it was four. I
And
think it was
that
four.
then probably was 2016. 2016. I think it was 2016. That's a long time. That's a long time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So next one is, what favorite artist that you want to see a new album from?
Good question. An artist that I would want to see a new album from would most
Yeah.
likely be it's gonna be old school for me. I'll say, man, that's a good one. I'll say actually Jay-Z, because it would have
Mm,
been Ice Cube, but he drops new albums each time.
yeah, he does. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I like about him. But Jay-Z, I would love to
Mm,
see a new one from him to hear what he has to say. Like
yeah.
I want the right now Jay-Z though.
Yeah, oh, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I ain't gonna hold you. Jay Z is on my list too. Jay Z is on my
Right.
list too. But
Yeah.
but for me, of course, if Michael Jackson was still alive, I would love to see a new album from Michael Jackson if he was still
Most
alive.
definitely. Most definitely.
And my other person, I would say Frank Ocean, since he don't put out albums
Mm,
consistency. He only put out like every 7 years. So
right.
like, he another person I want to see a new album from.
And while you speaking on I would love someone who's resting in pieces. Aaliyah, that's
Mm.
my girl.
Oh,
I
me
would
too.
love to hear
Yeah,
Aaliyah right now with an album. I know she'll be
me
ringing
too.
top. So I would
Me
love to
too.
hear what
Yeah.
Aaliyah had, if she was here right now.
I agree. That shoot, I just imagine I knew Alpha Leah if she was still alive. That would be
Man, yes,
geez.
yes,
That'd
deep.
be crazy. Yes, it would. It would. All right. So my fourth question is, what's your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday, that's a good one. I'm not really big on holidays. I'll say Christmas though,
Mm,
because I used to didn't like Christmas. I did
yeah.
when I was younger, but you remember I mentioned I was a teenage father, and I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
Christmas come by. I used to didn't be able to get the gifts and things that I could for
Mm,
my son,
yeah. Yeah.
not even
Yeah.
for my family.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
a while that I used to like have this awkward feeling about Christmas. And then
Yeah.
I met my wife, and we have our family and everything. And it's been times we was struggling. She made Christmas happen. And then
Mm,
just going off, growing as a man, I wanted to make sure that, I didn't have that feeling again. So I look forward to
yeah.
Christmas to make sure they have a smile. And my mom used to always say, when we were growing up, we used to always I used to ask her, what you want for Christmas, Mom? She used to always say, just you guys. That's all I
Yeah.
need. And I used to
Mm,
always like, come on, Mom, like, let's get serious. But she used
yeah.
to be serious, like, nah, for real, just you guys, long as you guys. And now I deeply understand what she meant.
Yeah. Yeah. And I actually agree with you. Christmas is mine too. For family. for the winter activities,
Hmm.
and many things like that. So I agree with you on the Christmas, and that's definitely a good the meaning for it. That's definitely a good meaning for it. And my last question is, who is a podcaster you want to work with that you have not worked with yet? Give me three of on your wish list. It could be a mainstream or indie.
Okay. What's her name from well, Miss Whitman from They Call Me Daddy. So
Mm.
her, she's in our little podcast, Good Pods group. She be
Yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
like her because she's consistent. And
Yeah.
also, I like the Geek podcast, the Geeky Dad
Geeky
podcast. I
Dad.
like
Yeah, yeah,
him. He's consistent too.
yeah,
I
yeah,
like how he does the implement with the kids and all that. He's the
yeah,
only, first one I seen to do that.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
the last one would definitely be Mel Robbins, the mainstream one. So
Mm,
I love Mel Robbins, her books. I love her content, her motivation, her inspiration. I would love to collaborate with Mel Robbins.
mm. Yeah, those are good picks. And two of them are right on my show. Medical Daddy and Ricky Dad. So
Yeah.
shout out to them. Shout out to them.
Okay.
They family over here. They family over here.
Yes, they are. Yes.
Yeah. So if I had to pick my three, I know this one person already been on your show already. He haven't been on my show yet, or you've been on his show. But we were working on him and his wife come on my show. Things About Us podcast, Really and Fiona. That's one I want to work
Oh
with.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that's one
Yes.
of them, of
Yes.
course. Family right there, family right there.
Okay.
This other podcast called Pedal Support, Mama D. She always give
Hmm.
good advice. She been on my wish list for a minute.
Okay.
And the third, who is the third? It's hard. It's hard to do this because there's a lot of people I listen to, and if I had to pick a lot of people, I have a lot of people I want on my show. So This is hard, but that is hard. I can't even pick. Um, It'd probably be somebody mainstream. Not Joe Rogan, not Joe Rogan,
Right.
but somebody mainstream who doing maybe Joe Button. Joe Button. Maybe Joe Button.
Mm.
Joe Button would be a good guest to have on the show to work with in the future. Cause everybody. I know a lot of people don't agree with him when he talks
Hmm.
sometimes, but Joe Button keep it real. So I would
Right.
say I would say Joe Button. I would say Joe Button had Joe Button on my show. But Coral, thank you for coming to the show. Debbie was a
Yes.
really dope conversation. Thank you that we finally got to do this. With
Right.
me being on your show first and then you come on my show. So thank you. And we're definitely gonna bring you back for a future episode of Mr. Gentleman, like that
I'm
podcast.
here.
And keep doing amazing things. And thank you for coming on, bro.
Oh man, I appreciate you. Likewise, you too, man. You keep doing what you're doing with that consistency. Like I said, you motivated me for us the consistency. And you know my door is open, man. You need anything, you need me to do anything, I'm right here. You got the number. You just contact me and I'm there.
Yeah, you already know it, bro. And thank you again for coming on. But Corey, before you go, drop your
Hmm.
social media where they can reach you and drop where they can listen to Visit Vegas Places with Coral. This is your
Yes,
time.
sir. Yes, sir. So you guys can reach me on all social media handles under Visit Vegas Places. You can go to the website also, which is visitvegasplaces.com. And of course, the podcast airs a new business owner every Friday. Every Friday, we air a new business owners, whether if you listen to on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, or Amazon. We're on all streaming platforms. You could just search Visit Vegas Places with Coil. And again, everything is about Las Vegas. Shop local, support local, buy local. And also remember, if you can't find any of those resources, you can always get the trusty Google and you just Google search me, Visit Vegas Places with Coil or Coil, Coyal.
All right, there you go. And check out Visit Bigger Places every Fridays on all podcast platforms. Thank you, and we'll be right back. I just want to take the time to thank everybody for tuning in to this latest episode of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Pocket TV. Thank you to my special guest Coral for coming to the show. Thank you for talking about Visit Vegas Places. Thank you for the amazing conversation. And thank you for giving every entrepreneur some tips. And I love the conversation. Thank you again for coming on Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Or you can check us out on the audio version of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Pods, and many more. Or check out the official website of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com. You can check out Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Sundays for the main series and every Thursdays for a spin-off series Thursdays. And add me on social media, Ken underscore Mr. Gentleman. I repeat, Ken, Ken underscore Mr. R Gentleman, Gentleman. Thank you once again for checking out this latest episode of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast TV exclusively on YouTube. Have a good day or night wherever you're watching this episode. You are now listening to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Chill!